talking about the danger that's presented to ordinary Kiwis, that danger is multifarious, I would have thought. It's not just in terms of criminal gangs, but it's in terms of official representation. One of the activist unions, if you like, in this country, it's called a union, God knows why, but certainly it's a lobby group that acts as an important, I would suggest to you, an important facilitator of light. That would be the best way to describe it. It lets in the sunshine. It pulls aside the curtains and says, look, it's the Taxpayers Union. And two of their most recent gets, and they're good gets as well, were the Pākehā project and its hundreds of thousands of dollars being spent in the public sector to indoctrinate us into the idea that we should all feel guilty because we're white people. But also the IRD providing information incredibly to social media companies, anonymised, but nevertheless providing it for reasons that are simply beyond me. Joining us to talk about both these issues, how they got them and where we go to from here, is Campaigns Manager for the Taxpayers Union, Sam Warren, and he joins us now. Sam, thanks very much for joining us. I'm interested how you got to, for both of them, both the Pākehā project and the IRD selling the information, how you came across that information, or is this just through normal means?
Normal means. A lot of the times we do get tip-offs as well. Obviously, the Plunket project, that's actually not news. This is a few years old. And we thought it would have stopped by now, and certainly ACT and National, they made a lot of noise about it while in opposition. And, of course, now they're behind the driver's seat. It's still going. And we have uncovered, I think it's $650,000 has been spent through ministries leading these projects. And it involves things like questioning the algorithms of your whiteness and all sorts. And we do struggle to see the value this brings, particularly with my taxpayers' hat on. And it's just, it's actually quite disappointing.
Well, who do you blame for that? Is it individual ministers, or do the individual ministers even know? I mean, I'm thinking to myself, they probably wouldn't be going line item through their portfolio, would they?
Well, they certainly should. They probably do know now after it's been hitting the news.
Now, that's right, yeah.
And I would really expect action to be taken. It's every cent put into this, I'd say, is 1 cent too many, and I'm guessing you and probably many of your listeners would agree. It's a real beat-up just for being white, and it's being spread throughout these ministries. It involves Stats NZ, MBs involved, and I think also the Ministry of Justice. So it's really gone through there.
Nicola Willis, the Finance Minister, is also the Minister for the Public Service. Has the Taxpayers Union been in contact with her to do with this?
Not to my knowledge, but I'm sure it is on her radar. They're exercising, or they're saying they're exercising a lot of austerity these days. But like I say, $650,000. That's
just crazy.
Not pocket change. It is crazy, mate.
Yeah, and essentially it's just propagandization. It's sort of a Marxist critique, propagandization too.
Absolutely. I've gone through some of the testimonials from people who have sat through these courses, and I really do just struggle to see the value. Of course, people have come to grips with their privilege and all sorts of things. And to be honest, that's fine. If you really do care about this, go for gold, but I don't think the taxpayer should be funding it.
Yeah. No, if somebody wants to feel guilty about being white, that's right. Do it in privacy and between consenting adults and behind closed doors. I totally agree with you. Listen, the IRD selling information, though. What about that story? Where did you get that from?
Well, there's an employment advocate down in Christchurch, and we've been working with him. In fact, Jordan had him on the podcast just recently. I recommend you check that out. And he's raised this concern, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. Up to 500,000 Kiwis potentially have had their data leaked deliberately to overseas tech giants by IRD. And I would go as far as say that that's probably the biggest breach in taxpayer privacy in our country's history.
I would think so. As I understand, the information that they've provided says the IRD is anonymised. You're not convinced of that anyhow?
No, it's called hashing. It's jumbling up all the information before uploading it to Facebook. and they use this for advertising campaigns more or less. And it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's LinkedIn, it's Google, and all that sort of stuff. Hashing, the US Federal Commission are on record saying it's just not up to scratch in terms of protecting data. And, of course, IRD initially claimed it was good as enough. It means nothing to Facebook. These are large tech companies. They have your information. It's overseas. It's really worrying. Who knows where it is now?
Yeah, but the bit that I can't understand is why are they giving the encrypted details of hundreds of thousands of taxpayers to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and Google? I mean, what's the point? What's the purpose?
Well, they're running advertising campaigns, so they'll have files, and for example, I've seen one ad for student loans, I think it was, people late paying their loans. And look, that is an important issue. They'll upload these files saying they've been jumbled up and sufficiently protected, hashed, whatever, and they'll be running them online, and anyone that potentially needs to be talked to will see these ads going, oh, IRD must be looking for me. But I really think the point is, we didn't really consent to this. Unlike when you and I would voluntarily give our information to third parties, that's fine. That's our choice, or not to as well. Meanwhile, we're required by law to give this information to IRD, and the quid quo quo, sorry to say, is there's a trust there, and they've completely abused it.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, but again, I go back to this. I'm sorry, the IRD want to use these social media platforms that I've just mentioned for the point of view of targeting advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say I'm a student. I've got a student loan. The IRD are providing my information to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and they're saying, right, now go and target Michael Laws or go and target all students.
Mm-hmm. Or anyone in this file they've uploaded. I don't have the exact details of what they've done, but that's the ins and outs of it. And look, they're obviously trying to recollect money or do whatever they can do that they think's important, but really the point is that they've breached that privacy. They've got the details. If anything, they could email them or call them up directly. But for some reason, they thought this was the best idea.
It's madness. And apparently they've spent $400,000 with Facebook in the last 6 years doing this sorts of advertising. That's just one of them.
No,
so it's been going on for a while.
It's extremely disappointing. The news has come out just last night, actually. They've hit pause on future uploading of information. I need to stress, they've still got all the other information, and the ads are still running, to my knowledge. So a pause isn't good enough. There needs to be a please explain. Head should be rolling, and the minister is AWOL. He's not issued a statement as far as I can tell. So it's really upsetting, and it's extremely disappointing.